Hello my beautiful friends, and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another video. Today I have another super easy, delicious recipe video for you guys, and this is focused on the go lunches. So all of these you can make in advance. You could even meal prep any of these just by adjusting the amount that you make, and these are perfect for school or work, anyone that's on the go. I try to incorporate lots of fresh vegetables and lots of whole foods in this video because I wanted to make all of the recipes super healthy, but of course tasty as well. So I hope you find these helpful, and if you do, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. As always, I'm going to have a blog post with the written recipes, so make sure you check that description box for that link. Now let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is make a tofu veggie mix that you can repurpose into many different dishes. So first, I'm going to cut up some tofu. So I want to cut the tofu into these kind of match sticks, so long, thin strips. Then I'm going to cut up some bell pepper as well. Next, we are chopping some mushrooms as well. Now you can use whatever vegetables you'd like, so it's obviously up to you. These are just the vegetables I had on hand. Actually, mushroom is apparently not a vegetable, but whatever. Once we have everything chopped, we are going to heat a pan on medium-high heat and add just a little bit of oil. Then let's start cooking the tofu slightly before throwing everything else in. I'm just going to let the tofu cook for about 2 minutes until it starts getting nice and golden. Then let's add in the peppers and mushrooms in. We're going to cook that for a few minutes, then the tofu will really start to get that nice golden tan. At this point, we're going to add just a little bit of salt. You can add as much or as little salt as you'd like, and I'm also going to add half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Basically, we want to cook everything until the mushrooms and peppers are cooked and the tofu is really nice and tanned. Once the tofu and veggie mixture is done, we're just going to actually take out half of that mixture and set that aside so we can use it for something else. Then on the remaining mixture, let's add in a 1/4 teaspoon each of basil and thyme. This part is optional, but it's just good for some added flavor. You can add whatever spices you'd like, obviously. Now, I'm going to make a lovely wrap that's going to be delicious. So first, I'm taking a large tortilla. I believe this one is 12 inches. Then I'm going to spread some hummus. I'm just using store-bought hummus because I'm lazy, but you can use homemade if you're not as lazy as I am. So I'm going to spread the hummus throughout the large center of the wrap, just like so. Then I'm going to place about 3 to 4 large leaves of romaine lettuce as a base. Then let's add around half of that filling, and then I'm going to also add some alfalfa sprouts. You can feel free to add other veggies as well, obviously, but you know, this wrap was getting pretty big already, so I'm going to close everything off with another large leaf of lettuce. This is going to make the wrapping process easier, in my opinion. Then let's take the bottom of the tortilla, then gently fold over to cover everything. Squeeze gently to get that food tightly wrapped, then fold over the sides like so before rolling over to secure. This part is totally optional, but I'm going to actually lightly toast the wrap to secure the bottom. I find that toasting helps the wrap come together. Then let's cut that in half and look at the beautiful inside of the wrap. Is there anything more satisfying than cutting a wrap in half and having such a beautiful creation on the inside? I call this wrap porn. Yes. Just a side note, if you are someone with a larger appetite, I would probably make 2 of these or bring a large snack as well, because someone like me, I could eat 2 of these easily. Keep that in mind that you are allowed to have more food because this is quite a lighter lunch. This might be good for someone that, you know, maybe eats a, smaller amount of food than I do. And now for the second recipe, we are going to repurpose that tofu veggie mix that we made earlier. So we're going to throw in the remaining half of that tofu veggie mix back into the pan. We're going to turn that heat up again into a high heat. And once that heats up and begins to sizzle, I just want to toss everything around a little bit, then add in 2 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce. Immediately after, you want to turn the heat off and stir everything really well. Now you can also add in a little more teriyaki sauce if you'd like. To me, 2 tablespoons was enough. You can use store-bought teriyaki sauce, or you could also use homemade. I actually do have a delicious homemade teriyaki sauce recipe in my Everyday Asian Recipes ebook, which I will link down below. And then you could serve this mixture with some rice, but I actually had some quinoa left over, so I'm going to use quinoa instead of rice in this video. So we're just going to add some quinoa into a container and then top that off with the tofu and veggie teriyaki mix. And then on top, I'm actually going to add some green onions as well as some toasted sesame seeds. And there you have yet another beautiful and delicious lunch. Alright, recipe number 3 is going to be an easy pasta salad with lots of vegetables. First, I'm going to cook the pasta according to instructions. I'm using this fusilli pasta, I believe it's called. You can use whatever pasta you like. Then let's chop the veggies while I cook. I'm going to chop double the amount that I need because we're going to do that crazy thing where I use some of the ingredients for the next thing. Plus, it's always nice to have some extra veggies chopped in the fridge, in my opinion. So we've got some broccoli and carrots, and I'm also going to add in some red onions. Then let's prepare the dressing. We're going to make an oil-free dressing, guys. I mean, you can add a little oil into your salad if you'd like, but I do find that most people overdo it with oil when you can make a perfectly great dressing with little to no oil. So let's mix together the dressing ingredients. I added in some apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, maple syrup, basil, and salt. Then, last minute, after tasting the dressing, I thought it was a little too acidic tasting, so I wanted to add a little tahini to balance it out. I would actually recommend mixing the tahini with the maple syrup or the lemon juice in the beginning to thin it out first, then it'll make it easier to blend into the dressing. But it's a really simple dressing, and you can again add or subtract anything you'd like. At this point, your pasta is probably done, so let's drain that, and I'm also going to add some chickpeas. Then let's rinse in some cold water to make sure everything is cold. Then I'm just going to add everything directly into this very stained container. Yes, guys, don't judge me. My container has food stains. What are you gonna do, okay? That's just real life. So now let's add in everything in here, starting with the pasta and pea mixture. Then you kind of just want to add in your desired amount of veggies. I probably added about 1.5 cups of vegetables. Then I also decided to add some cherry tomatoes because apparently I'm bougie. Is it just me, or are cherry tomatoes really expensive? You can obviously use regular tomatoes if you're not bougie like I am, okay? Just kidding, guys, okay? You know me, I'm cheap. So this is a big deal for me. Let me have my bougie moment, okay? Speaking of being bougie, I'm gonna be fancy, and I'm also gonna add in some chopped fresh basil. Yes, I know, right? Obviously, this is optional, but it adds a really nice touch and nice flavor. Then I'm just going to start adding in 2 tablespoons of the dressing because I'm not sure how it's going to be. So I'm closing the lid, shaking it up, and shake it really well and give it a taste, all of that good stuff. So after you give it a taste, maybe you want to add some more dressing, or maybe you want to add some salt and pepper. Totally optional, up to you. And there you have a delicious pasta salad, really healthy, tons of veggies, and remember, you can meal prep this easily by making just more pasta and adding in more beans and more veggies. It's super easy to make like 3 or 4 of these meals for your lunches for the week. But now I'm going to show you how I'm going to repurpose what I just did. So it's kind of like we're meal prepping, but slightly different meals so you don't get bored. And then for this next and final recipe, I'm going to make a lentil and quinoa salad. I'm going to start off with rinsing the lentils. I'm just using canned lentils, so I just drain it and rinse it really well. You could of course cook your own lentils from dry, which will save you money as well. Now, originally I was just going to make a lentil salad, but I'm using quinoa just because I had quinoa left, so I might as well. So this one is going to be really simple. We're just starting with 1 cup of cooked quinoa already in the container. Then we're going to add 3/4 cup of canned lentils that we just rinsed. Again, you can skip the quinoa and add more lentils if you like, or you can add a different base such as wild rice, or maybe couscous would be really good as well. Then we're just going to add the leftover veggies from the previous recipe and dressing as well. We're gonna shake that really well. Super easy, super simple. And then I also wanted to add some cilantro, so I'm gonna add some chopped cilantro. So because we're changing up those herbs, we're going to really experience different flavors, different tastes, just a slightly different experience, and it's gonna just make your food more exciting. So yeah, you can of course skip the cilantro if you don't want cilantro, or you can add basil like we did before. Totally optional, whatever you'd like. Another thing we're gonna do is add some chopped artichoke hearts, which I love. And of course, you don't have to do this, but again, I had some and I love it, and it goes well in lots of salads. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of that. And this recipe, once again, is great for batch cooking, meal prepping, so feel free to make more than one serving. I believe this will keep in the fridge for at least 3 or 4 days, so feel free to make extra if you'd like. Alright, my beautiful people, thank you so much for watching. We've come to the end. If you found any of these recipes helpful, and if you enjoyed this video, please take the time to click that like button, which helps me a lot. And if you're new to this channel, of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Once again, the written recipe as well as the ingredients list will be in a blog post, which I'll link down below, so make sure you check that out. I want to thank you guys so much once again for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!